Link engaged.
Visit us at TeamSpeak.com.
So, here we are, back again. It is game number 1, the finals for the Team Liquid Open number 24, sponsored by TeamSpeak. Of course, TeamSpeak, always a great sponsor for such Team Liquid Open events. Once again, very well organized, professionally run, and I know for a fact, because I run some tournaments as well, I know a lot of tournament organizers for those open tournaments, which are so common on the European servers, and lately even more on the North American servers as well. So I do appreciate it even more. It is a Protoss versus Protoss finals here. The first map, of course, is ZeNEXYong Caverns, and we do have RaNgeD as the purple Protoss here in the bottom left area. Meanwhile, his opponent is ZeNEXYong. ZeNEXYong was doing a very, very good showing against Lucky Fool in semifinal number 2. On the other hand, RaNgeD is already showed us some very, very smart play in terms of PvP. Young played just this Protoss versus Terran, so we don't really know how good his Protoss versus Protoss is, because of the fact that he's Korean, and a lot of foregating play, a lot of gateway heavy play is possible coming up by him. Now RaNgeD, he played very, very passive in both of his PvPs. So in the first game against Sync, he just waited in his base, hold off a Blink Stalker attack, won it by Dark Templar, rushing Dark Templar play, better to say. And in the second game, once again, he was able to hold off a 4-gate, played it out nicely, spotted a hidden expansion, and boom, suddenly he was up 2-0, and 2-0 means, oh yeah, he advanced to the finals. Now, let's just see what is happening right now. ZeNEXYong is in the base of RaNgeD right now. He sees everything he needs to see. So the cybernetic core coming up for RaNgeD. On the other hand, RaNgeD just arrives in the base of Young. The cybernetics core timing is basically the same, only 1 second difference between those guys. The energy on the Nexus is also the same, so it looks like we have, like in the previous PvPs, the same opener coming up for both of these guys right now. So, when do we see a second guess is the question for me. And when we take a look at the base of Young, he just started a second guess. So thank you very much, Young, traveling to time and space for putting up this simulator right now. The second simulator for RaNgeD is not yet coming up, so I'm really, really curious where this is going. More probes, of course, getting produced by both players. Rule number 1, when you want to learn how to play StarCraft, always make harvesters. It worked out so fine for me when I still was a Bronx noob. So very, very good lesson to learn. Now, Young is having this second little simulator for quite a while now. And when we remember the last series, when RaNgeD compared to Sync, he always got his simulator a little bit later. So he did not want to go for any tech super, super fast. Just playing it out standard with some gateway units and a robo in the beginning, and it was working out for him. Now we see RaNgeD is moving out with his Stalker and his first ability waiting at the ZeNEXYong Watchtower. Young having his probe at the ZeNEXYong Watchtower on the right though, seeing if there's something up. Still, you can evade those ZeNEXYong Watchtower by just moving around the gold expansion, and then you're fine to sneak past your opponent. And we can see RaNgeD once again adding a robo first, and then now adding 2 additional gateways. Meanwhile, Young just going for the gateways right away, no robo, no nothing like this coming up. I think Young might be able to throw down Twilight Council pretty soon. But he is having a sentry out, and having the sentry out by Young is sort of interesting. So this could also mean that he might be afraid of a 4-gate, because when you invest so much money in a sentry, and by so much money I mean those 100 gas, and the 100 gas early on are quite important. This could mean, oh yeah, I'm expecting something and I don't want to move out, because in Protoss versus Protoss, when you build a sentry, you cannot move out, because if you do, you basically die. Because having invested so much money early on is not a good thing, because in Protoss vs Protoss, sentries are not the best units if you want to play aggressive. Now Young is having a single Stalker. The single Stalker will get taken out in front of his natural expansion, in front of his ramp at the natural cell. In that regard, 1-0 for RaNgeD in terms of how many Stalkers were killed. RaNgeD did not lose a single unit until now, so he must be feeling okay, because when you as a player play Protoss versus Protoss, and you take out a Stalker of your opponent without losing a Stalker of your own, you're feeling so good. Now their RaNgeD is moving in with the Sentry, with the Probe, and what did he scout will be the important question. Did not scout the Robo, he knew about those warp gates, but that's basically it, so it could be anything. But one thing he also did scout was all those Zealots, the Stalker, and the Sentry at the front of the ramp. Now we can see Young is going for a robotic space or one base Colossus play coming up by him. On the other hand, RaNgeD just started to chrono boost his Twilight Council to go for the Blink research. The Immortal is already what he is having at his ramp, adding some more Stalkers right now. And if he is able to go for an attack just a couple of seconds before the first Colossus is out, he might be in a good position. Now the Robo facility is able to produce those Colossi. The Observer should pop out any second. Now the Colossus is queued up. He might be able to go for some... But Young is a supply block for just a second, and like I told you early on, every single second counts. You don't want to be supply blocked in Protoss versus Protoss, because you need those forces out as fast as humanly possible. Now RaNgeD still having this pylon here at the natural of Young, so he will be able to warp in some units there at the front right away. Meanwhile, the Observer of Young is moving down here, did not spot anything he needed to scout, because all those units of range were moving up to the natural expansion. Now RaNgeD here is about at the ramp. He's able to do some poking. He's got the high ground vision, so he's able to do some damage, and there are not many RaNgeD units at all there for Young. But now the first Colossus pops out, but the Colossus does not have the range 9, it's still range 6. The Colossus does have the same range as the Stalkers. The Colossus did take some damage, and Young was not the only one actually. RaNgeD was not the only one attacking this gateway. Young attacking his own gateway for just a second, and there is RaNgeD at the ramp. Is he able to move out? No, not just yet. He's just trying to take out the gateway, and of course taking out the gateway is a good thing. There's a force field trapping this one single Zealot. Still, he needs to watch out not to be in the range of the remaining Stalkers. There the Zealot goes down. So RaNgeD still is able to do some damage, but the longer he waits, the better the position for Young will be, because the second Colossus is about to pop out, as well as the Extended Thermal Lance are great about to finish. Just another 10 seconds, and then he will have this additional so crucial +3 range on the Colossi, and once you have the +3 range and those Zealots to tank the damage of the Stalkers, you as the guy who's having the Stalkers need to get out of there, or just go for some brilliant micro to snipe the Colossi without taking too much damage. Now RaNgeD is going for a Nexus here at his natural, whopping in the Nexus and another pylon. He's trying to buy himself some time. Still, he needs to watch out what's up with Young. And Young, by the way, he's not going for the charge. He does not have a Twilight Council, so those Zealots are slow Zealots. And if you are up against those slow Zealots, those Blink Stalkers are absolutely more versatile, more powerful. And now RaNgeD is doing one interesting thing. He is going for a Dark Shrine, and of course when you go Dark Shrine, a mid-game in Protoss versus Protoss, and your opponent does have Colossi on the field, it means he's able to get those Observers out as well. So maybe RaNgeD is trying to use this Dark Shrine later on for some Archons. Now we see that Young was moving out, tried to get some shots off with the Colossi, but RaNgeD absolutely on top of his control, blinking away just in time, but still losing a single Stalker here. This is not what you want to have. And now the army of Young is getting more and more menacing right now. Those Colossi, 3 in total in Protoss versus Protoss, of course, are quite powerful. Yes, RaNgeD might be able to blink in, snipe 1 or 2, but then the damage has already been done by the third Colossus and by all those other Zealots, because when you just blink in a couple of Zealots, or just actually a ton of Zealots, it doesn't really matter how many, if the Zealots do have the speed or not, they still be able to do some damage. Now RaNgeD is warping in the first DTs over here, but never mind, he's blinking in the main base, trying to snipe the robo facility, and the robo facility goes down. Now he blinks once again back behind the force field, but now his blink is on cooldown, allowing Young to do so much damage, and this attack by RaNgeD absolutely did not pay off at all. Yes, he took out the robo, but he lost so many stalkers in the process. He is so much behind right now, and there are those 4 Colossi of Young taking off even some more, getting off some more shots on the stalkers, and RaNgeD is in a lot of trouble. Now Young finished with his own Nexus as well, but there is RaNgeD now moving in with the DTs I was talking about early on, attacking this Nexus right away. Not anymore. Now he's trying to chase down the probes at the same time. Young is continuing to move forward to the base of RaNgeD. RaNgeD got a lot of Zealots. He does not have the charge for the Zealot as well. So Zealots without charge against Colossi is not what you want to have. And here is Young attacking, doing quite a lot of damage with his forces. The DTs meanwhile are rampaging in the base of Young. Still, there was no observer out just in time. The observer of Young, did it get taken out? Yes, it did get taken out. Now it's up to the DT to do as much damage as possible, but still Young does have so many more forces left. Now splitting up his forces, trying to take out the pylon and the Nexus here at the natural expansion. At the same time, the one Dark Templar is an executor with 20 kills. The other DT will not be able to do anything because of the photon cannon. And now I realize why Young actually decided RaNgeD actually decided to move in with the blink in the base of RaNgeD in the base of Young, because he took out the robo facility, and boom, suddenly there was no observer anymore being able to produce. So with RaNgeD being able to take out the observer, oh yeah, not looking too good for him. But Young still gets so many forces left. He took out the Nexus at the natural expansion. Now he was even able to take out the Nexus at the main base. So the playstyle of RaNgeD was quite smart, still not very cost effective. RaNgeD is getting up another Nexus here at the 3 o'clock location. Young moving up with a probe at the 3 o'clock, and he spotted the Nexus, so he knows what's up in that regard. Still, there is no robo finished for Young. He's getting the robo, so the DTs of RaNgeD are able to do even more damage still in the main base, and they are able to take out all of those remaining units. Now, Young is happy that RaNgeD is not really focusing down all those pylons one by one, but still RaNgeD realizing, oh yeah, there are the cannons out on the field, there's the robotics facility coming up, so that's why GG is called, and ZeNEXYong in a quite entertaining Protoss versus Protoss, which was played very smartly, takes game number 1. Here in the finals for the Team Liquid Open number 24. So he's up 1-0. He showed us some good, very good and smart play in terms of Protoss versus Terran in the semifinals. He did do the same in game number 1 in the finals here, and now it's up to us to see how will he play in game number 2. Of course, as always, as I mentioned already, you can follow Team Liquid's Twitter. It's very simple. Team Liquid Net is where you can find this on the internet, as well as my Twitter. I got some as well. It is Special Andre, and you can find more about me just by Googling Special Andre on Facebook, Twitter. I got my website, which is, by the way, andre.com. So very easy to find. We are going into game number 2 right after this.